and gentlemen, please welcome a one-time naval man, but now he hates belly buttons, Craig Charles.
They say time goes quickly when you're having fun, and even quicker when you're mashing up robots, because here we are at the first of our Robot Wars semi-finals. Now, as you can imagine, our semi-finalists are an absolute bag of nerds. I've never seen so many robots rush off for an oil leak, and I even caught one robot here praying earlier on. Either that, or he'd stuck his hand together gluing his engine back on. But they've got every right to be worried, because each of our 8 qualifying robots fighting today has already kicked some serious robo-botty. Oh yes, let's see how they made it this far.
Raiding champs Chaos 2 blew away Atomic. Steg 2 used another flipper, and Mortis flopped in the heat final. Tornado was a real twister against the fancy Gemini twins, who were spiked. And next up, controversy. Suicidal tendencies thought they were through, but Wheelie Big Cheese got the decision of the judges. Pussycat created a major surprise, slicing through the razor. Thermidor 2 went supersonic against Chronic, the Wedgehog. Watch out for those claws. Firestorm inflamed opponents the Morgue, who thought they'd won, but they were wedged on the pit. Firestorm took the judge's decision. And last to go through, Dominator 2. These are our first 8 semi-finalists.
Tonight's competitors will face the usual knockout competition. The only difference being they're all psychos. I'd rather get in the ring with Terminator's big brother. And in the end, however, only 2 survivors can return for our grand final. Robot Wars the Armageddon. Yes, folks, it's time to pump up the carnage.
Craig, 5 seeded robots are into this semi-final. Firestorm 2 at the bottom of your screen there, seeded 5 against Dominator 2. Pussycat seeded 19 against Thermidor 2. Wheelie Big Cheese, our 15th seeds against Tornado. And Steg 2 seeded 7 against the big boys, Chaos 2, the reigning champions.
Looking cool, calm and collected as ever, we have Chaos 2 getting ready for their first battle. I've got to ask you, George, this is an awesome flipper you've got here. You won the last wars, you did very well in the heats. What makes it so special?
Most of the power comes from the fact that we're one of the few teams that use high pressure gas to full bottle pressure of carbon dioxide.
So you feed liquid CO2 into the cylinder?
Yeah, liquid CO2 straight into the rams. Yeah.
And that expands at like?
Yeah, 570 to 1.
So that's where you get that awesome kick from?
That's where the kick comes from, yeah.
And what else is another strength about your robot? I mean, it's small, does that help?
Yeah, the small size helps because the chassis is much tougher being smaller. I can make it thicker and still keep under the weight limit.
And you look to be a very good driver.
Well, most of that is the electronics. I'm an electronics engineer. It's one of the easiest robots to drive because of the electronics.
And here is the opposition. It's Steg 2 from Hampshire, my county. Come on. Do you perchance pump liquid CO2 into your cylinders?
We do.
You do?
We do.
That's fantastic news, because that is the strength of Chaos 2.
Yeah.
Really?
We have that too.
But you are a bigger robot.
Yeah,
which means that you're probably less robust.
No, it's the way it's built. It's built with space-age technology.
Oh, all right.
So it is robust. I'm sure it's just as robust.
Because their key tactic is usually to just get people right out of the way, isn't it? Flip them right out of the arena.
Yeah. Happens to be the same tactic as ours.
Ah, but have you ever achieved it?
Not yet. Not yet. But, you know, there's a first time for everything.
Ipswich, seed number 1 and reigning champion, Chaos 2.
The fire extinguisher-powered CO2 flipper is one of the most powerful weapons we've ever seen. Only costs £250 to build. The ground clearance is a tiny 1mm lawnmower motors used to drive the top seeds.
Hi, the Chaos 2 team. We've flipped our way to the semi-final.
The robot's exactly the same as last year. Powerful flipper, good traction. We're last year's champions and we hope to do it again this year.
Rob Romsey, seed number 7, Steg 2.
They reached the semi-finals last time in a previous guise. His Stegosaurus also has a CO2-powered pneumatic flipper, an electric 750-watt motor. The Shell Aerospace Aluminium is bulletproof.
Hi, I'm Rob. This is Pete. This is Danny. This is our robot, Steg 2. Received a little bit of damage getting as far as we've got. We're now through to the semis. We've had to make new polycarbonate top because it got a bit damaged, and our tail is being repaired at the moment as it got a little donk in it from Mortis, but hopefully it'll last to the final.
Robotinas, stand by.
Yes, Chaos 2. George Francis, Robot Wars veteran at the controls there, Ian Swan and his son Richard with him. And Steg 2 with Rob Heisman. He's the bearded man on the right-hand side, Dan King at the controls.
2, 1, activate.
Interesting to see whether or not Steg 2's power has been repaired. It is vital to them. Strengthened for this series of Robot Wars. Tries a flip, and Chaos 2 gets immediately in underneath Steg 2 and in 8mm ground clearance to attack. And Chaos 2 found that gap. And already we've seen the power of George Francis's flipper there. Chaos 2 tries to reply. We've seen the danger already of the reigning champions. There he is at the controls, an amateur physicist. He loves his astronomy, loves his photography, and takes a snapshot of Chaos 2 in trouble. Only momentarily, though, because it has the Streamex, so vital, invaluable for Robot Wars. A self-righting mechanism. And on the attack on Steg 2 again, pushing against the arena wall. Down comes Steg 2. Great battle, this. Flip and a flop. A hop, skip and a jump battle in the series semi-final. The first of our semi-finals in Steg 2. Just dragged into that CPZ, the corner patrol zone. Don't forget the house robots can then come out and attack. You're knocked into the CPZ. Steg 2 on its side now. And that's the vulnerability of a Streamex. If you're topsy-turvy, you can use it. But once you're on your side, can the Steg 2 team, Rob Heisman, Dan King and Peter Rowe now right Steg 2? I don't think so. I think it's all over for Steg 2 after a very good opening few moments in this battle. Flipped up by the arena flipper there. It rolled 2 or 3 meters, tries to right itself, can't. Oh, all over for Steg 2. And they started so promisingly.
Steg 2 is definitely now extinct. Chaos 2 goes through. Your heart must have sank when you saw who you had drawn up against.
Yeah.
You made a great improvements on your robot since last year, though. You put a flipper on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you had him on his back.
Yeah.
Put himself right away. So does yours, though, as well, didn't it?
Yes, it did, yeah.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, a lot.
You're up against the reigning champions.
Well, they're the champions. I mean, we did well.
They are quite powerful, aren't they? And you did do well. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Steg 2. Well, that was okay, wasn't it, young man?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
George?
That's a bit tough, that one, yes.
It is a good robot,
good
that one,
robot,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, very powerful, but...
Yep, good fight.
Do you think you can do it this year? Do you think you can reclaim it?
Quietly confident. There's still several good robots out in the pit at the moment.
There certainly are.
The standard's much better this year, I think.
I think it's improving all the time, which is what's good about it.
Yep.
No robot has ever maintained the championship.
Well, this is only the Force Wars.
Yeah, well,
So-
do you think you're going to do it?
It was a bit worrying when you picked this up.
I know, it's got a good flip on it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But your self-righting arm worked perfectly, didn't it?
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you in the next round. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Chaos 2.
I think young Richard Swan, just 9, a pupil at Castle Hill Junior School, is the brains behind Chaos 2. Steg 2 out. Next up, Wheelie Big Cheese and Tornado.
On performance, this robot is one of the favourites for the title. You performed brilliantly in the heats, but you've made some changes.
Yes,
Why?
its response was a bit slow before. It was a slight delay between telling it to start or stop and it actually doing it.
Why was the delay in there in the first place?
Well, there are wheelchair motor controllers in there, and people don't like their wheelchairs taking off like Formula 1 racing cars. So we've taken out the delay, and it should now perform like... Well, we know it performs like a Formula 1 racing car now.
And this is more powerful than the flipper in the arena.
Yes, definitely. The flipper just sort of rolls them over, and we chuck them 6 foot or so up in the air.
And what do you think about your opposition, then?
I don't think he can do much to us, but whether we can catch him and do anything to him is an awkward question.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this one. Cheesy enough for you? Are we scared?
No.
I think they're pretty awesome, this opposition, because we've seen them in the heat, and they really have got a phenomenal flip.
We don't really think they should have won their last battle. It was a judge's decision, and we were among that part of the crowd that didn't really think it should have gone to them.
Controversial. So you're going to be showing them what for, are you?
Well, in actual fact, we think their opponent was better, so we're less scared of them than we would have been of their opponent with suicidal tendencies.
Oh, right. So please you're not up against them, at least.
Yes,
Stop.
yes.
Well, you've got an awesome robot. Dave here is the storm chaser. You might remember from the heats, he's scared of nothing. Not even the wheelie big cheese. You can pull a Land Rover, can you not?
Yep.
And there's a spike in here that will come at you and have had you before you even saw it coming.
From Huntington, Tornado.
Very powerful. With a low gear ratio, the pneumatic spike ram came from a loudspeaker production line. Welded steel and polycarbonate, and Tornado can whip up a storm.
Hi, I'm Andrew, this is Dave, this is Brian, we are Team Tornado, and this is our robot Tornado. To get here, we beat Caterpillar, Berserk 2 and Gemini. At the end of the heat, we had a little problem with our drive system, but it's all fixed now and we are ready to go.
From Langport in Somerset, the number 15 seed, Wheelie Big Cheese.
Oh, Drew, yeah, baby. That weapon can throw 800 kilos into the air. The wheels have golf shoe spikes. So, 4! Watch out for this.
Hello, I'm Roger, that's Paul, and that's John. This is our robot, Wheelie Big Cheese, the toughest robot on the block. All built out of titanium. It's virtually indestructible. Since the last heats, we've improved its handling somewhat by taking out the delay in the controls, and we've now got the GT version, ready to take on anything.
Roboteers, stand by.
And taking on Tornado with Andrew Marchant at the controls there in the middle, David Gamble on the right, Brian Moss on the left, and Wheelie Big Cheese, Roger Plant, an engineer, with the beard at the controls on the right-hand side, Paul Otten and John McGugan with him.
3, 2, 1.
Wheelie Big Cheese had the left-hand drive damaged earlier on in the series. Let's see if it has any effect here. Tornado, very underrated. Many people thought that they would beat the Clusterbot Gemini twins in their heat, but they did. Dancing away from Wheelie Big Cheese. Classic wedge shape, and look at that power I was telling you about of the mighty throwing device. Up goes Tornado, 3 feet off the arena floor and slamming back down. Again, leaving themselves vulnerable to attack. And you can see the power of the weapon actually turns Wheelie Big Cheese up and over. Tornado doesn't have a classic Stream-X self-riding mechanism. It can run both ways up. There's the cheese again. But at the moment, it's certainly not a spree for the brie. But you can come and bet that Roger Plant will be driving his machine right on until the end, but they've sustained damage in that CPZ. Look at that! The wheel is buckled and bent, and now it's Tornado's turn to drive on. That is a decisive moment. Wheelie Big Cheese got sucked into the CPZ, the corner patrol zone, and that was when the damage was sustained. Look at that wheel. No mobility left now for Wheelie Big Cheese. Tornado knows if they can stay out of arm's reach of the flipper, they have a real chance here. They can push and shove. No, don't get onto that flipper. Tornado with Andrew Marchant, an electro-acoustic engineer at the controls. Roger Plant there, you saw him at the Wheelie Big Cheese controls. Tornado smoking somewhat. They're okay though, spinning away, so they're still mobile. A little bit of smoke coming up there perhaps. Turning away Tornado. Wheelie Big Cheese maybe just trying to hang on and go for a judge's decision, and that's what is all that's left for them, because it goes to the judges, Craig.
Well, very close, very tight. I wouldn't like to call it. It's down to our judges.
Well, they'll be judging on style, control, damage and aggression. Wheelie Big Cheese, obviously aggressive early on. But in that CPZ there, tussling with Matilda, that was when the damage was sustained, and I wonder if that is the decisive moment in this battle. Very close. Tornado driving on, the more aggressive towards the end.
Well, guys, decision time. The judges have made the decision. They've been looking at style, control, damage and aggression. And the wheels have come off the cheese. Has challenged. They've gone for Tornado! It was a really close one.
Yes. Well done.
It was a really close one.
Yeah.
Your wheel came off a lot earlier. You were damaged a lot earlier. You suffered a little bit more damage than Tornado. They were quite tenacious. That's what the judges have said.
Yeah.
Do you agree with all that?
No.
Do you think you'd swung it? Do you think you'd sneak the decision?
I wouldn't like to call it, like the last one. Can't do it, no.
You've got a very powerful flipper. You flip them up, you flip them. I thought you were going to do it. And then you lost your wheel against the barrier. In a little skirmish with Matilda as well. And it was all downhill from there. You've got much further than you've ever done before. You're going to come back and see us again, aren't you?
We've got enough robot left to bring it back next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, big them up. Wheelie Big Cheese. Yes! A few more fights and you could be lifting a title, couldn't you?
We're glad to have won that one. That was very difficult.
You've got a lot of damage there, though. I think there was an internal fire inside that robot.
I think we've burnt a motor out, but we'll have a go at repairing it. We'll see what we can do.
Can you repair it in time?
We hope so.
Can't say. Fingers crossed. Ladies and gentlemen, big it up, Tornado! Whoa. Well done, lads.
Roger and team, what happened to that wheel of yours?
The weld broke.
How'd you get around something like that?
We'll have to learn how to weld titanium a little bit better than we're doing at the moment. It's very difficult material to weld.
And not a lot of people do it, do they?
Very few people at all, so we're doing all right.
So if anyone knows how to do that and could help Roger, perhaps they could contact him. Otherwise, you're going to be doing a lot of travelling before the next wars, aren't you?
Now I'll find out how to do that in my little workshop at home down in Somerset.
All right.
We can weld most things in Somerset.
Excellent news. The Tornado team, fantastic against Wheelie Big Cheese. You did a splendid job,
wasn't it?
It was. Now, what's happening here? What are Steg 2 doing on your bench?
We've had a motor burnout, and Steg 2 very graciously donated one of their motors, which is wonderful of them, so we're going to be able to compete in the next battle.
Yeah, it's not all war, is it?
Steg 2.
Well done, guys. And are you going to be ready?
We hope so. Fingers crossed.
We haven't got long. I'll leave them to it.
Cheers.
Generosity of spirit in the pits as ever. I hate them. Wheelie Big Cheese are out. Tornado go through. Thermidor 2 and Pussycat next up.
Pussycat have made it through. They've got 9 lives left. They did very, very well in the heats. Now, this works according to Newton's second law, apparently, which is what?
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
And how does that apply to the robot?
What that means for Pussycat is that when the wheel turns to drive Pussycat forwards, the robot tries to turn in the opposite direction. And that's how, when we're lying down, we can flip ourselves back up.
It's very impressive. And this here is the self-confessed best driver on Robot Wars. You did well so far. Let's meet the opposition. The blade on top of your opposition travels at just 3,000 RPM. That's quite fast. These look pretty tasty. What are they made of?
It's a sponge, and the wheels are from a Mini Metro.
Ah, OK.
Nice and grippy.
Where'd you get those from, then? Did you nick them?
No, they were given to us.
And we've talked about these pincers before. We think they're just for show.
They are really just for show, yeah. So.
Not very impressive. So what's the key strength of your robot?
The key strength is the flipper. It can lift about a tonne, which is about a Land Rover.
That'll do, won't it? That'll do if the driving's good enough. And powered by 2 Bosch 750s. How did you win the heat?
I think it was pure luck.
I think they're going to need it.
From Gloucester, seed number 19, Pussycat.
This team is in its 4th wars. Robin Herrick, the captain, now joining up after missing the heats. The circular blade could mean the cat slitter here will be made up of opposition metal and machinery.
Hi, we're Team Cold Fusion. Today we're joined by Robin Herrick, our team captain. These are the guys we've taken out so far. We've taken out Razor, Reptilitron, Milliambug and Robo Chicken. We're fighting Thermidor next. It'll make a nice change to have lobster.
From Norwich, Thermidor 2.
No hidden claws in the small print here. They're out in the open and powered by 2 750-watt industrial electric motors. An aluminium shell too strong for Seed's Dreadnought in the heat. They caught a crab.
Hi, we're Team Lobster and this is our robot Thermidor 2. My name's David, this is Eli, this is Ian. It's got a top speed of 15 mile an hour. Our main weapon is our flipper. We've also got these powerful claws. Since the heat, we've had to strengthen this bracket, as you remember, they sort of either snapped off. Hopefully that won't happen again.
Stand by.
There's Pussycat, now with the team captain Robin Herrick there in the middle. Young David Gribble, the driver, and Thermidor 2. David Harding on the right, Ian Harvey at the controls, Eli Kirkpatrick's 12.
2, 1, activate.
Tested Thermidor 2 in the kitchen at home. Pussycat, we've seen beat Razor. Pussycat, though, at the moment, flipped over by Thermidor 2 once and twice. It's not just the claws here, it is that front flipper on Thermidor 2, and look at the damage sustained there for Pussycat, coming down and again just tossed up in the air here like a cat on a hot tin roof. Pussycat comes down. All that business about Newton's law, I thought it was when an apple fell out of a tree. This is Pussycat falling out of the air onto the arena floor. There's the ref bot coming in for a little glance. You may have noticed around the necks of the Pussycat boys pieces of rubber strung. Trophies of war, pieces of razor, collected, strung up, put round their necks as a grisly reminder of previous success. But at this moment in time, I'd say Thermidor 2 just about on top against Robin Herrick's team. Is it now time for Pussycat to come back, trying to sever the claws there with that circular blade? And look at the damage here, slicing in to the very head of the lobster. A great gash appears, dented down the spine as well. And a worry for the Thermidor 2 boys. David Harding, an electronic engineer, Ian Harvey, an automatic inserter. Young Eli's at Heartsea School. Come from Norwich. The Pussycat boys from Gloucester, trying to chase them home though. Pussycat again with a circular blade. Outermost. Powered by electronic motors. Ooh, and they came back strongly. This will go to the judges. And I wonder whether the damage sustained by Thermidor 2 at the end will prove too costly.
Well, that one's going to go to the judges, but let's have a look at some of the highlights of that amazing battle.
Don't forget, they have to judge on style, control, damage and aggression. Thermidor 2, certainly the aggressor there. And again, Pussycat flung up into the air. But from then on, look at the damage sustained by Thermidor. And I think the flipper was immobilised late on. And I think that could be decisive as Pussycat finished very, very strongly.
Well, the judges have made a decision. Remember, they're looking at style, control, damage and aggression. And in their wisdom, they've gone for Pussycat! Sorry, guys. Well, you started out really quite strongly. You were flipping them backwards and forwards, but you kind of slowly ground down and ran out of power.
Yeah, we ran out of gas, and after that we were sitting duck or sitting lobster.
Yeah, sitting lobster. I mean, you were kind of your flipper stopped working halfway through as well.
Yeah, it's all gas powered.
And that saw they've got is quite awesome, isn't it? It really cut you up towards the end.
I think it has cut us up.
It's cut you up quite badly, I think. A lot of running repairs there, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
You'll come back and see us again, won't you?
Yeah, we sure will.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Thermidor! Yeah! Well, you're not far away from the grand final, lads. You've just got to keep it up. You started off really slowly.
Yeah.
I mean, were you worried there at any stage?
He's a good opponent. I must admit, I did underestimate it, and I wish I didn't now.
You've still got all your 9 lives, though?
They're the first guys to damage us.
Really?
Yeah.
OK, well, go make some repairs and we'll see you in the next round. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Pussycat team!
That is one trash-looking lobster.
Yeah, he's not well.
Oh, look at the Mini Metro wheels. Completely split there. What happened? Because you had that fight. We thought it was yours.
Yeah, so did we. We just ran out of CO2 halfway through, and once we do that, that's all our weapons gone. So.
Yeah, because the flipper wasn't working, was it?
The claws don't work either.
Still, you'll know for the next wars, more gas.
More gas, yeah.
More gas. It's a long fight.
Okay.
You need to be prepared.
Right.
Because failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
Right.
He certainly took notice of that. Thermidor 2 go out, Pussycat through, and Firestorm 2 against Dominator 2, the last of our first semi-finalists.
It's the plasma nitride-coated titanium boys. Dominator 2 are back for more damage. This thing out-accelerator pulls motorbike up to 20 miles an hour. It's very, very nippy. They've got about 1.5 tons worth of pressure from that axe. And have you made any changes since the heats?
Yes, we've changed the tyres, so we've got added grip, so we've got far more pushing power. We've reshaped the axe, ground it and polished it so it doesn't get stuck into competitors. And we've also moved one of the main control PCBs between the gearboxes, absolutely invulnerable there.
Because that got spiked last time, didn't it?
It nearly did, but we didn't want to risk it this time.
Well, they'll need those changes because they're up against the 5th seed. And it is the Firestorm 2, boys.
Hello
Now,
there.
this is a special robot because normally we have one motor per wheel, but not on your robot.
Nope, we've got one big motor at the back for forwards and backwards, so it turns the differential in there like that. And then we've got two smaller motors down here for left and right, which turns the differential like that.
So you've got a forwards and backwards motor and a sideways motor, which should give you more control.
Yes.
And you've also got 25 stones worth of self-righting flip at the back there.
We do, yeah.
Which your opposition don't have.
No, they don't. We don't believe that they can self-right, but we haven't seen her in action yet, so, well, wait and see.
This is going to be an interesting one, is it not? What's your message for the opposition?
Run away.
Exactly.
From Huntington, Dominator 2.
The motto of this team is ram it, hit it, push it. 2 industrial motors generating up to 20 mile an hour. A pneumatic axe is the weapon. A plasma nitride-coated titanium shell. Can they dominate or will they whimper?
Welcome to Dominator. Previous battle, we put the axe through 101. In the tracks, all over his casing. We're looking forward to doing it again. Modifications, these tyres. Plenty of grip, plenty of pushing power. We're not only going to axe them, we're going to push them.
From Durham, seed number 5, Firestorm.
Third in the third series of Robot Wars, a fire extinguisher CO2 gas power flipping arm which can toss the equivalent of 25 stone. For their heat final, they inserted heavier batteries than normal. It paid off.
Hiya, I'm Alex Mordew.
I'm Graham Bourne.
And this is Firestorm. Still a little battle weary from its previous fights, but we've still got our flipper and we've still got our speed. So we're ready to go on and win this.
Roboteers, stand by.
There's the Dominator 2 team, a unique bi-wedge shape there at the controls. Peter Halloway. There's Firestorm 2. Alex Mordew on the right-hand side. Graham Bone, the taller of the two.
2, 1. Activate.
Classic wedge of Firestorm against the bi-wedge, which has the more obvious weapon. There it is. That's coming down. And again. Firestorm 2, though, has the flipper. And over onto its side goes Dominator 2. Can they right themselves? Very impressively done. Very quickly done. You can see the new tyres on Dominator 2. And again, down comes the axe. Look at the blade. Oh, lifting, plucking at the powerful flipping arm of Firestorm 2. Fought in Series 2, fought in Series 3. They got knocked out by Chaos 2. The Durham boys, they were at Edinburgh University together. And up against Dominator 2. They now come back in on the attack. Trying to get in underneath Dominator. There they are, Graham and Alex, you saw from behind. Dominator 2 now on the attack, chasing them down across the arena floor. Get up to 20 miles an hour, Dominator 2. Peter Halloway, the project manager for the team, the driver, the T-boy also, he said so. Paul Tolliday is controlling the weapon. And the crowd make their intentions clear. They want the Firestorm boys into the pit, but they escaped. You see a vent of steam rising from the arena floor there in the background, and Dominator 2 upended. Comes crashing down. That's where Firestorm 2 could have done, perhaps with an axe-type weapon, to get in on the vulnerable underbelly of Dominator 2. Only has the flipper. Scarred Firestorm badly as well, but always aggressive. Again, Dominator 2 flipped up. This first semi-final has been markedly close. Really has been highlighted by some very tense close battles, and this is another one, and I'm sure it'll go to the judges unless Dominator 2 can free themselves here from the arena floor, and the ref bot comes in. Dominator 2 are there, mobilised. Firestorm 2 grinds, grates.
Cease.
And Dominator 2 may have just got away at the end to take it to a judge's decision. Only just, though.
Well, did Firestorm burn brightly, or did Dominator dominate? It's up to our judges.
They've had their work cut out, haven't they? The quality of the semi-final so far, judged by the fact that they've had to make 3 decisions now. Dominator 2 using the axe. Yep, points gained there. But Firestorm 2 came back very strongly, and again, that's been a feature of this semi-final. Takes a little bit of punishment from Dominator 2 late on.
Chaps, the decision is through. It's the closest decision ever in the war. The judges have gone 2-1, and it's only by 1 point in favour of Dominator Zoo! Oh! Guys, you were the 5th seed.
Yeah,
you were finalists in the last war. And you've gone out to an unseeded robot. How did you think it went yourselves?
I thought it went pretty well.
Do you think you'd stolen it?
I thought we'd got through. It was very close, but I thought we might have just got it at the end there when we got them up against the barrier.
You did seem to be the strongest robot a lot, but that one was terrier-like. It was very, very aggressive, and you flipped it, it flipped back. You flipped it, it flipped back. Are you going to come back next year?
Yeah, we will do.
Different robot, same robot?
Same robot, just a bit better.
A bit better. Cheers, guys. Don't be too upset.
Not be upset.
Let's hear it for Firestorm! Come on! I can't believe you did it!
Nor can we.
Because we were at back while the judges were deciding, and you, Mr. Pessimistic, well, go, no, we've lost it, I can't see it, we've lost it. And you come through.
Well, it was just...
2-1, 1 point in it.
Yeah, it's good. It was a good fight.
You're through to the next round, guys, but you know the robots get bigger and better and badder as you progress.
Absolutely. And we've got some work to do now.
You certainly have got some work to do. It's exciting, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Let's hear it for Dominator 2!
Is that one of the points that they lost on? What do you think, team?
Well, a little bit disappointed at the decision, but...
Now, you've seen the judges' score marks, haven't you? What were the exact marks?
It was 111 for us, 109 for them, but we lost it on one judge by 1 point.
Incredibly close.
Yeah,
when you get to this stage in the competition, you've got to expect that, haven't you?
Yeah. We lost it on damage. I mean, we've got holes all over the robot. There's all cosmetic stuff. The robot still works fine, so...
Ours was still working fine at the end of the battle, but it was a bit knackered, but I think they've got it sorted for the next one.
Oh, and you're pleased about that.
That's one of the closest I've ever seen, but Tatana Firestorm 2, Dominator 2, one of 4 machines left in. Only 2 qualify for the series final. Chaos 2 against Tornado, Pussycat against Dominator 2.
Chaos 2 team about to go into the arena.
Yep.
Now, Steg 2 put up quite a good fight, didn't they, really?
Yes, very good robot, yes.
It was 1-1 in terms of flips. Why did you win?
I got more flips than he had. Stood him on his side for a little while, and then the house robots came in.
Now, Tornado, whipping up a storm.
This is an interesting one. It'll run both ways up, so it could be quite difficult to dispose of. If I keep him moving, he might run out of batteries or burn the motor out or something.
So the tactic is flip him as many times as you can.
Yep. Preferably over the fence, if possible.
Out the arena. And the Storm Chasers ready to face Chaos 2, the #1 seed. Now, how's that motor working? Because Steg 2 lent you one, didn't they?
Well, we did get a motor from Steg 2. We also got a motor from Mousetrap. We have got Mousetrap's motor in here now. Thank you to both teams.
Well, let's hope they give you some
Very
luck,
much
because I think you'll need it against the #1 seed. What are your tactics going to be?
I think we're just going to see if we can push them around and break them, or perhaps even give them to the house robots if we can.
From Ipswich, seed #1 and reigning champion, Chaos 2.
Can anyone stop the reigning champions, George Francis?
From Huntington, Tornado.
Will it be these boys? There's Andrew at the controls, David Gamble and Brian Moss with him. And they have their fan club. Don't forget, the winners of this go through to the series final.
3, 2, 1.
Chaos 2 will be the more aggressive. Trying to burn out Tornado's batteries or motors. Trying to flip Tornado constantly. Tornado, not surprisingly, trying to stay out of trouble. Gets a jet of flame from Sergeant Bash and its CPZ. Again, the quality of the robots, I think, in this series semi-final can be seen by the fact that the house robots haven't been called into play that often. This is Chaos 2 trying to flip Tornado out of the arena and succeeding! That's what he lives for, George Francis. And again, he's pulled it off. Look at this. In underneath. You If you don't first succeed, try again. Out go Tornado in style. Blown out of the arena. What a way to go out.
Well. The Tornado is blown off course. Chaos 2 go through. Did you think he was going to do that? Blow you out the arena like that?
Oh, well, I wasn't particularly surprised by it, but at least it took someone like that to do it.
Yeah. You've got really far. You must be pleased with your contribution so far.
I'm very happy with it.
What was your plan? How are you going to take that fight? What did you think you could do to beat... I mean, it's the reigning champ.
It's just the usual of ram them and keep ramming them until they stop moving if we could.
Well, that's been your tactic all the way through, really, just bludgeoning people to death, really. You know, pulverising them into submission. It's worked really well. But not this time, though. Great row with that Chaos 2.
Yes.
Have you enjoyed yourselves?
A lot.
You'll come back again, won't you?
Oh, yes, we'll be back next year.
Let's hear it for Team Tornado! That was amazing.
Well, about the only thing we could do is stop him.
That's your speciality, isn't it? Flipping him out of the arena.
Throw him.
I thought he was going to be a bit heavy. I didn't think you were going to get him out, but you did it.
They're all the same weight.
I said to George, leave him there, he's dead, but he said, no, I'm going to have a go.
Too much of a temptation.
Because you could have just left him there on the side and just left it for 30 seconds.
It was sort of aimed just over the fence, so I just couldn't resist it.
It was all set up for it, wasn't it? Well, I keep saying, you're very close to maintaining your title. Still some fights to come, though.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Chaos 2!
Now that is why Chaos 2 is the reigning champion.
Poor old Tornado. Chaos 2 through to the series final. Who will join them, Pussycat or Dominator 2?
Well, he said it himself. He reckons he's the best driver on Rebel Wars. We will wait and see. You're up against Dominator now.
Trying to attack him from the rear.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull his power link out.
That's the plasma nitride coated titanium boys you were talking about.
I don't think so. I think that's steel because magnets don't stick to that stuff.
Ooh. Ooh, there's a spy in the team.
Well,
I can't believe it's not plasma nitride coated titanium. I've said that so many times.
But it don't go rusty either.
All right, let's go and look at that rust heap he's talking about, shall we?
Yeah.
Team, your opponents have just called you a rust heap. What do we think about that, then?
They've got some nice material to axe on their robot, haven't they?
I think they have. You've got about 2 minutes.
2 minutes, oh, loads of time, then.
All right, so we'll see you in the arena.
Oh, yeah, we'll be there.
Rust heap.
From Gloucester, seed number 19, Pussycat.
Will they be kittens or will they show their claws, Pussycat?
From Huntingdon, Dominator 2.
Will they survive the war of words and have the last laugh?
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
Watch out for David Gribble, the driver of Pussycat. He's won over 40 trophies for Aikido. He's a mean machine in himself, and Pussycat on the attack. And driving, look at that, very, very simple tactics. Go for the new tyres, shred them, and Dominator 2 would be out. Certainly, Peter Halloway, Chris Hall and Paul Tolliday, the Dominator 2 team will be aware of that now. But can they do anything about it? What they can do is drive that bi-wedge in underneath Pussycat. Try and force the cat back onto the arena wall. But Pussycat holding the centre of the arena at the moment, and again trying to get the blade in play. Blade against axe. Variety of weapons throughout this series. Matilda, the sparks fly as the house robot comes in. And Pussycat is in Matilda's lair in the CPZ. Back comes Matilda with the tusks, and Dominator 2 on the attack, and Dominator 2 on top of the moment, perhaps, after the bright start by Pussycat. Can David, the student, now get that blade against the tyres? Well, it was a broadside attack, and whatever the shell, plasma nitride coated titanium, rust, doesn't matter. At the moment, it's withstanding any sort of pressure from Pussycat. Again, they try the tyres. It's an awfully tiring semi-final battle so far, and the shell very nearly lifted off Dominator 2. And that was significant, and you can hear the slamming. And that could be the telling assault that earns Pussycat a place in the series final. Can they finish Dominator 2 off? Will we again go to the judges? And suddenly they've sliced in there, look, to the back of Dominator 2's shell. And this has been a wonderful, wonderful series for Dominator 2. But I think it's come to an end right there. Pussycat, they think they've won it. Dominator 2 look pensive. Busy night for the judges. But Dominator 2 had started so strongly with the plasma nitride thingy, whatever. Pussycat survived the attack, came back, and surely that's the most decisive moment of that battle. Surely that is when Pussycat won a place in the series final.
Well, the judges have made the decision, and based on damage and aggression, the cat still got the cream. They've gone for Pussycat! Guys, it was close again, but just on damage alone, they almost had your casing off, really, your shell off. And one of the judges commented, this is why the judges are not comedians, they said you've got to get your axe together. Apparently they don't believe that your axe has penetrated enough.
No, we lost power in this battle for some reason. Don't know why, gas leak probably.
You came so far, though. You got further than you'd expected, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
Certainly did. But then you really started hoping you were going to make the final.
Yeah.
Never mind, guys. You got through to the semis. A lot of robots didn't even do that.
That's true.
You'll come back next time, won't you?
Absolutely.
Let's hear it for Dominator 2! Yes! That blade on the front of your cat, that's not a pussycat, that's a lion, it roars.
It's phenomenal, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, it would wreck the wheels, it almost had the robot out of its shell.
They almost had us out of the ring.
Yeah,
They're a good opponent.
It was a good fight. Two equally matched robots. It's one of the best fights I've seen in ages.
It was a good fight.
When you're through to the final, guys, you're through to the final. You could go all the way.
Yes,
you know. Are you excited?
Definitely.
Well, we'll see you in the grand final Robot Wars. Let's hear it for Pussycat! We've chosen two of my favourites. I hope they were yours. Will they survive the final of Robot Wars? Bye-bye.
Competing in our second semi-final, Stinger, Mousetrap, Spawn of Scutter, Panic Attack, Hypnodisc, Splinter, Wild Thing, and Exterminator 2.